Hello and welcome to the Canadian Highlander points update for April 2023. My name is Benjamin Wheeler, and joining me today I have Councillor Robin Sorensen.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
Is it great to be here?
Oh, it's great.
Oh, glad to have you. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? We got some cool changes to talk about coming to the Canadian Highlander points list, effective immediately. Next Monday. But I mean, if the people see it and then they could be watching it in 2025 and they're like, next Monday, oh no.
Do what you want, people.
Yeah, live your best life. We know we have lived our best life when it comes to some of the changes that we have. Pretty exciting stuff got in store here.
Mostly through Highlander, I have been able to live my best life.
Speaking of, Highlander is living its best life because, well, not to slag on Garrett too much, but there's a bit of a glow up in terms of the Canadian Highlander Council makeup.
That is true.
I am back on the Canadian Highlander Council. Some of you might have not even known that I was not on it, but I'm here, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Ben. Thank you for having me.
Great. Let's get to the changes, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a good year for Highlander.
Very good year for Highlander.
We had a great top 8.
Mm-hmm.
We both died in the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Both dead wizards.
Yep.
But overall, the gameplay was awesome and exciting, and everything I love about the format.
And so we're making a large series of changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're throwing it all in the trash.
They're mostly housekeeping changes. I will say this up top. A lot of the things are like, well, we didn't want to make too many changes, even like early on coming out of lockdown when, more communities are sprouting up, people are starting to get back into playing, and, well, cards printed during that era were pretty good. Thassa's Oracle, Minsk and Boo, some good Magic cards.
Took extra long. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
to
okay.
get the data.
Ferminated it. That's not the word I'm looking for. Fermented. Ferminator is the thing I brush my cat with.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyways, starting things off, balance. Going from 1 point to 0 points. Removed from the points list. Balance to 0?
2006 me
Yeah.
is looking at 2023 me and is very disappointed.
That you would
put this card to 0.
Yeah, it's appropriately, it's a product of its time. It's definitely one that, even back then it wasn't that good.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was all right. And that's kind of why it's off. It's a card that requires a lot of commitment to the build, a lot of commitment to the build of your deck and building of the board and how the game's actually going. It's very contextual, or else it's either does nothing or is actively detrimental to you.
Yeah, it's truly balanced.
Yeah. And 0 is an even number, right? It's not going to, I'm sure that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some good artifact starts with balance.
Yeah.
Well, that's in my mind. But
I think those are okay.
Everything comes at a cost.
Yeah. Speaking of cost, the next card, Library of Alexandria. From 1 point to 0 points. You have been someone that has been for this for quite some time. Is that correct?
It's been years.
Okay. Do you want to speak on Library to 0?
It's any deck can play Library of Alexandria. And some people here, including Ben, have had their traumatic Library of Alexandria games.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to include, but I just feel that its time has come. It's strong. The strong starts, I call it the rhythm, the library rhythm. If you can get to that rhythm, more power to you. That kind of start is getting so rare with the power of the format.
It's like the control decks in the format too are kind of in a spot where they're either 4 to 5, like 4 colors usually. Like Jeskai is one of the big ones, or Check Pile is another good one.
Those are all good.
Where you're not, that your mana base can't really afford or doesn't want to play these cards because they tend to trade with a bunch of really cheap removal and interaction.
Yeah, you can play it, and you'll probably get some wins with it, especially in Check Pile or Sultai or that kind of stuff, the control decks. But they're going to be few and far between.
Yeah. It's not that big of a worry. Plus, throwing a bone or two to the more reactive, kind of slower control decks that are, God bless the people still playing them, but
Yeah, we see you. You are valid.
Yeah. So there's going to be at least one person out there that is looking at this change and thinking, I can tap it to draw a card and then untap it with my Teferi Hero of Dominaria.
And my candles.
Candles of Lang or Candelabra of Tawnos?
Tawnos.
Okay, thank you. Another card from 1993/1994, Mind Twist from 1 to 0. Ooh. Mind Twist? But Robin, what if they Mind Twist me and I lose my hand?
Well, Ben, you should have played a better game.
No.
You need to get better.
Wait, hold on. This is what we agreed upon? It's Mind Twist in 2023 is an awkward one. That was like I was a bit of a defender on this card being at 1 for a while.
Me too.
Yeah. And I think the initiative cards, not to bring up the initiative, and the power push of like Mana Vault in some of these mid-range decks has made Mind Twist a bit of an awkward inclusion where, I mean, are you really playing Mind Twist in a world where you can go triple Mox Mana Vault or like Natural Order double Mox Mana Vault or Tainted Pact?
Yeah, the problem with Mind Twist is that it was almost never the best option at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it just didn't see any play unless you were really going for a meme. And I played it at one point for fun.
Yep.
And it wasn't that good.
Yep.
And if it's good sometimes, not amazing all the time, and it's on the points list, and no one's going to play it at 1, let's get it off.
There's a certain, we talked about this a lot because, like you said, this is one that we've been kind of churning over for, I mean, literal years. Almost half a decade by now.
I'm old now.
Yes, we're all ancient, Robin. We're all ancient. Where Mind Twist leads to some non-games.
You know, Ancient Tomb, that's where I live.
Oh, me, I tend to reside in the Crystal Vein. This is fun. They'll laugh at this, don't worry. But Mind Twist is like, you know, oh, if I just kill their first threat and I untap and Mind Twist their hand, then they don't get to play Magic. And that's true, but also in a world where people are playing to the board more, we have there's a second copy of Force of Will effectively and Force Negation for this.
True.
Where there are a lot of cards that already have that.
Also, like, what's the best number to Mind Twist someone for? Probably 3.
3.
So
yeah.
you paid 4 mana to 3 tragedies them.
Instead of 5 mana or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the power level of the format has just increased.
Not
If they go Minsk and Boo and you have a Mind Twist
yeah.
for 4 on the next turn, if you're on the draw, you're probably losing that game.
Not to mention one of the like card combinations where this one was a little awkward was Pat Counselor, Pat Berdusco. Don't know why I said Pat. But he was always worried about the interaction with Spellseeker decks getting to free roll Mind Twist, just as like the Seeker Walk decks. Yeah, but like that's okay. Throwing a bone to creature combo.
Yeah, you know, Spellseeker decks can take all the rest of the turns in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're worried about paying 4 mana to make the opponent discard 3 at random when they can just never let the opponent really take a non-instant speed game action again.
You want to talk instant speed though?
Let's talk instant.
Great. What about interrupts and mana sources? I think the Mirage printing of Mystical Tutor is going to be up here. Mystical Tutor going from 2 points to 1 point. Mystical at 1. Wow.
What a year.
This one's kind of funny because when we were talking about this card, there was some hesitation initially and also the discussion surrounding like what could go wrong with a world where Mystical's at 1. There are some decks that certainly gain a lot from Mystical at 1 that have been format boogeymen in the past or current, boogeymen such as Flash Hulk. Getting access to Mystical at 1 could be kind of scary if you live through that era. Or even no Lotus Underworld Breach combo decks, having that flexibility. Not the best thing, I know. I'm just trying to paint a picture here. I could see it in your eye of just like,
Oracle,
Thoracle
Reanimator.
too.
Reanimator's playing it too.
Yeah, so like there are some decks that might cause people to be like, oh, Mystical at 1, it's too good. I don't know why they're an old wizard. But this is a change that is more beneficial to the combo decks that are outside of like the top tier that are still good, like Reanimator, still a real heater of a deck.
Absolutely.
But the way that I described this in the write-up, which will go on the Canadian Highlander website and Discord after this, presumably, is describing that the decks that play Mystical Tutor now are either playing them because they just literally don't have anything else to do with their point spread, because you're just kind of locked into like Demonic, Vamp, Mystical, and then change. Or they are Blue X control decks that are looking to relive their glory days, like Blue Eye Control or Blue Moon decks where they're like, oh, I can Mystical for my recall or my Bonfire.
Yeah, I believe in miracles.
Since you
So
came
where
along,
are you from?
you sexy thing, you. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
Lets me get
I think
into
it's a Chris Sutherland approved change, you know?
Yeah. I hope you're doing well, Chris.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well.
Shout out to Chris Sutherland.
Then we've got a card that is long overdue. Summoner's Pact from 1 to 0. I thought about not even writing anything up for this card in the announcement, just kind of going like, oh, Summoner's Pact, huh? Well, have fun, kids.
Yeah.
Because it's embarrassing's not the right word, but it's overdue.
I
think
can't
we're
remember
overdue.
why it didn't come off last year. I don't know if we voted on it. It didn't go through.
Flash Hulk.
It's been a while. Flash Hulk, yeah, you know, and to anybody worried about Flash Hulk, you know, maybe the deck has become overpowered with these changes. Unfortunately, if that happens, we're just going to attack points on Flash.
Yeah, it's if, you know, we're making these decisions with a level of confidence of this is the correct thing to do. We think it'll be mostly done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at this card.
Look at it. What are you going to do? Pay 4? What are you going to find?
Get your Yavimaya ants.
Ooh, I found my Leovold, my Groundbreaker. But yeah, if ultimately these changes lead to, say, Flash becoming a deck that's a bit too strong, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, we've played it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's fine. It's good.
fine.
And it's allowed to exist, and it's a deck that's allowed to have some strength because it does offer something unique to the format and also has a very interesting relationship in the Canlander ecosystem with some of the other like top tier control or combo decks.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was saying with the good a good meta and you know, the decks are great right now. It's like we've let these decks do their things. Let's let some other decks do their things.
Yeah. Yeah. Let them live. And if they live too good, well, Flash. It's right there.
Yeah.
No need to punish Protean Hulk. And finally, as almost as if it is an apology for all the punishment that Protean Hulk decks and the sorts have taken over the past decade, Survival of the Fittest is being reduced from 2 to 1. This one, I like the overall, because we lowered Birthing Pod last announcement from
That
2
had
to
to
1.
go with the Seeker thing.
Yeah. So it changed spots with Seeker, and the Seeker Time Walk kind of locked into those points lets us address the pointing on cards like Birthing Pod and Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, they'll kind of Seeker and Walk will pay for the sins of these cards.
Exactly. And it's nice to give people looking to play more. I was going to go with family friendly creature combo decks, you know, like the traditional Kiki Pod.
Comes
like,
with free appies.
Yeah. Sandy B, you know, get yourself dinner in a movie.
I'm excited for fair Survival of the Fittest.
Yeah, Dredge.
As well. I mean, call that fair.
Yeah, fair.
But just as a value card, I don't think we'll see Squee.
No.
We could.
Oh, we got 2 Squeeze now.
Yeah.
Yeah, could see it. But
Yeah,
I mean
I think
that's the great part about this. If this card stayed at 2, nobody's thinking about this card in fair applications.
They should be.
Well, at 2 points.
Oh, yeah, 2 points.
But at 1
Not
point,
worth it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Could be your 1-pointer, or if you have more, you know. And yeah, you don't need to creature combo kill all the time with this. You can just kill them.
Yeah, you could just
People kind of tunnel on combos when it comes to creatures, but just attack and deal damage.
you know what creature this card gets? Whatever you need. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just being able to, you know,
Grist.
Yeah, helps the creature combat decks, especially in a world where control and mid-range decks are playing main deck. Well, not main deck, but pyrokinesis.
Yeah, that
Like,
card's showing up a lot. That card is great.
That's brutal. It is hard out there for a creature deck right now. And so any tools that we can provide them that allow them to maybe convert a Llanowar Elf into something more resilient to try and beat out
Color of the Claw reference.
I mean, I do love a good Caller of the Claw. Legion's All-Star. But enough about Caller of the Claw.
And Legions forever.
So, not a great set. But these are a great set of changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to just cover them top to bottom again, Balance from 1 to 0. Library of Alexandria from 1 to 0.
Oh, yeah.
Mind Twist from 1 to 0. Mystical Tutor from 2 to 1. Summoner's Pact from 1 to 0. And Survival of the Fittest from 2 to 1. All decreases. 6 changes, all decreases. 4 cards removed from the points list.
Get them off.
Get them off. Get them out of here.
You don't even need 10 points. You can do fine with 9.
I've played more 8-point lists, which might turn into 9-point lists now that I can play. Well, I guess I could have played Survival if they were 8, but
Aren't you on Library, Ben?
Yes. But yeah, it's honestly, it's never been a better time to play 9-point lists in Highlander. I think the cards are pretty good. Moxon's pretty good. All that. You know, the card quality in non-pointed cards is so much better nowadays.
I've played 9-point and 8-point lists without these cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can play them and be like, I feel good about using all my points.
Turns out they're not that good after all.
So how do we feel about the format, with these changes in mind? How do we feel about the format moving forward? What are some things that are on the mind of the council of like, okay, we are still paying attention to this, or what's going on behind the curtain?
Oh, in my mind, it's perfect. Doesn't need any changes, and if it did, we would have
made
done them right now.
Yeah.
There's some more things to unfold. Highlander's a slow-moving format. It's lots of high variance, not a big sample size, and you need to look at data over a long period of time.
Yeah.
There's not millions of people playing this.
And metagame to metagame, it's going to be wildly different. We have had people reach out saying that Library of Alexandria should be 2 points in their metagame. We've had people reach out and say Recurring Nightmare should be 2 points in their metagame. So, it's... But what about you? What does your Highlander metagame look like? Let us know in the comments below and how you feel about the changes that we made. Of course, if you want more information on the format, as well as a proper write-up of the changes made, you can find that in the description below. Robin, thank you so much for joining me.
It has been a pleasure and a privilege.
Glad of it. Thank you to James for running this, and thank you for watching. Happy Highlandering. Bye!